And action. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the We'll See You Later podcast, episode 40, brought to you by Happy's Energy and Nutrition, the best energy and nutrition on the planet. This is the Patty's tea. No explanation needed. Willie there has the Razorback tea. Speaking of Willie Ray, let me give you the introduction. This man has been a friend of mine since 5th grade. We grew up together. Played on him and his father's baseball team. We went through every sport you can imagine together. He is a Razorback enthusiast, stat collector. If you want to say like the Razorback encyclopedia, that is the one. Willie Ray here. He is the lead singer of the band Pale Horse, coming out with more and more music and actual like making an album, correct?
Yeah, we're in the process of getting tracks together for an EP, extended play, and really excited. I've been a singer-songwriter for the better part of 25 years.
Yeah.
And finally got a dream team together, man. These are guys that I've played with for a really long time. We're loaded, man. It really is. We had practice last night, and it really is an embarrassment of riches for me.
Yeah.
It makes my job really easy.
That's awesome. Some call him Will. Some call him Willie. Some call him an asshole. I just call him my friend.
Some
the
call
one
me
and only Willie Ray.
Some call me daddy, and I don't have any kids. So you figure it out.
Oh, wow. Guys, this is episode 40, where we talk all things sports and entertainment, mainly Arkansas sports and entertainment.
By the way, that's the third time I've heard you introduce me, and
each time's different.
That was the best one yet. We've tried to record this 3 times.
Yes. This is our third attempt here. We've had some technical difficulties.
Yeah, I'm not a new guy. I'm like a regular guest at this point. This is Groundhog Day.
Monday and last week we have filmed these episodes, and they've both went over an hour, and we've lost the audio on them. Been fixed, as you can tell. So we actually did this. If
it's not fixed, I quit.
Same here.
If it's not fixed, I'm
something's
done.
wrong. So we actually did the predictions. But the Razorback game is actually happening right now, baseball. So we are live feeding here. We are in the top of the first. 2 down, runner on third for Louisiana Monroe. Not sure how he got over there.
Starting pitcher, Big Tuna Colin Fisher. I think I saw an infield hit on the first pitch of the game.
By the way, ULM having some really attractive red and black jersey tops that I like those.
Is that orange?
It's like that yellow that they do because they're like a golden
right.
Red. So it's sprinkled in, and I like that.
Okay, you can like it. That's fine. I think that's atrocious.
I kind of like that as a weekend thing. Like I don't hate it.
Look, here's the thing. It's America. Republicans, Democrats, we can all get along. You like it. I don't. You're welcome to an opinion. You're just wrong.
I don't like the pants.
Awful.
I don't like the pants, but I do like the color mashup there. I don't like just white pants.
As I'm a baseball traditionalist, and that's awful.
For midweek unis, I don't hate those.
No slight against beer league softball, but this looks a little bit like a beer league softball uniform. Strike three
going in the bottom of the first.
To retire the side.
Sorry, we
bottom
don't
first.
I don't want to give you play-by-play the entire time, but we're locked in.
Right.
We're gonna go back, revisit last week basketball. Let's just get right into it. Arkansas beats Texas 86-81, and arguably the second best game of the year for us. It looked solid.
It was a really good basketball game on both sides. Really good basketball game.
Will's going to give flowers real quick.
All right. The first thing we need to talk about, I don't care if he plays for the other team. I don't care if it was in a losing effort. That boy, Trey Johnson, if you don't know, now you know that is a bad, bad boy.
Lottery pick.
That's the baddest freshman in America, not named Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
If you're not up on Trey Johnson, you need to be. Arkansas outplayed Texas for what ended up being 45 minutes plus the overtime. The thing that kept Texas in the game is this dude just decided he was going to go in a phone booth, put on a cape, and just you can't stop him.
Not at all. He made every shot he threw up, and then when we would double, triple team him, he would just find the guy. He's
at one point, Texas ran that same give and go. I'm talking like 10 to 12 times down the floor. They went to the well with it.
And it worked.
It's unstoppable.
And it worked. It was either he's shooting it or we're doubling him and someone's wide.
There's no defense for a perfect shot. And at one point, I saw 3 white jerseys hanging around him, and it just didn't matter.
No, it did not. Hogs do win that. Then we talked about the perfect trap game Saturday, going to South Carolina, who's playing spoiler to everyone.
Right. And the first time we recorded this was pre South Carolina. I think I said with this team and how inconsistent they are, that game scares me to death.
Yes. And it was a trap game. And I think the lingering effects of Texas and Thero not being there for now multiple games really showed.
Arkansas's offense looked completely disconnected.
The Hogs lose the game 72-53, and it never looked good. That actually makes it sound really decent. It was
not that close.
We scored 3 baskets in the first half, 8 free throws for a whopping 14 points. We finished the game 15 of 52 for 28%, 3 of 22 for 3. We hit our first 3 with 2 minutes to go in the game. We were 0 for 18 or 19 going into that spot.
If that sounds over the top bad, you're not wrong, because that's historically bad. It's the worst first half that an Arkansas basketball team has had points wise this century. Absolutely awful. You've heard the expression, he couldn't throw it in the ocean if he was standing on the beach.
That was our whole team.
Legit think that we would have missed that shot too. From the beach, throwing it in the ocean, we would have missed. I got to be real with you. The only reason that I watched it, because I knew I was coming on here.
Right.
Had I not been coming on here, I would have turned it off.
It was atrocious. The only thing that somewhat kept us in the game score-wise, it was never close, was free throws, 20 of 27. Pretty solid. By the way, freshman for Louisiana Monroe, third pitch hit our guy in the helmet.
Looks like an infield hit there.
Infield hit for Vahiva Aloy, runners on first and second to start the game.
Colin Murray Bulls. That'll be the only time you ever hear me say his name, but had a good game. It didn't matter. They tried to switch over Jonas Adu, Ivisic. It didn't matter.
No, he was fatigue and just outmanned there.
Well, can we talk about effort?
Gone.
Because I get that you're fatigued. Everybody's tired.
Right.
It's late in the year.
Right.
Everybody's tired. I know what effort looks like. I also know what lack of effort looks like. And there needs to be a gut check.
Yeah. Out of 40 minutes, you knew in 5 minutes in that this was a nightmare. Like this was about to get ugly.
This is a gut check moment. And what we heard Cal say at the press conference, it was kind of brutal, where he said, I can't make any trades. Can't get rid of I can't switch any of these guys out. We are who we are.
Right.
And
it's got to be a gut check here.
That's true. You built this roster, but they kind of got fleeced. I mean, what team in the country didn't want Jonas Adu out of the portal?
Yeah. So that's the thing too, is I don't think we can blame Cal.
You can't.
So many people are like, Cal. You can't tell me at the beginning of the year, looking at this roster on paper, the amount of freshmen, the transfers, and then the senior leadership from a first all-SEC guy, Jonas Adu, and you had a guy who took a team that was absolute butt crack and took them to the Final Four in John L. Davis. We pay you over $1 million, and once they got the bag, nothing. And Jonas Adu, I think, hit it just like you said. I think he came here hurt. He came here hurt.
I don't feel like it can be disputed that Jonas Adu was damaged goods coming out of the portal. And I think props to him and his agent or whoever it is that was involved with this. They kept it hid. And you said it, first team all SEC. They got
the best guy at his position in this league that we're in right now.
Jumping head high with the backboard. Like, this guy was a freak athlete, and now you watch him, and he's got no lateral quickness.
No step.
He can't get up. There's no burst.
No strength. He tries to do a jump hook away from the basket.
And this will be one of these things which, with Arkansas, we've got used to this kind of stuff where we know he's hurt all year, and then they'll come out after the year and tell you just how hurt he was.
Right.
Which does mean no good.
And then John L. Davis has no excuse. He's a mental midget.
Wow.
mental midget, bro. He cannot. He cracks under pressure, makes stupid mistakes. He's trying to be somebody that he's not.
He's not. There was, I think the mistake here was, again, next year will be different because I don't think any coach in the country, I know no other coach in the country came to a roster that had one player returning and had to build this entire roster from the ground up. Next year will be different because Cal can keep the pieces that will work well and then build around what he has. This year was kind of a deal where I think he over recruited with ball dominant guards.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason why, as inconsistent as Nelly Davis has been, he did get better when Boogie Flan went out.
Right.
Guys like Boogie Flan and Nelly Davis have been the guy their whole life, and they need the ball in their hands to make plays, and they don't play well without the ball. They just don't.
Yeah.
I struggled to see, particularly without Adu Thero, where does Arkansas get their offense from going forward?
Yeah.
Because Adu Thero, the absence of Adu Thero on the court is one thing, but you can definitely see the absence of Adu Thero in the locker room because I think he's in Los Angeles still.
Yeah. Supposedly getting a second opinion, which is a little scary.
Getting a second opinion on a knee injury, which is not ideal.
Yeah. We've heard multiple things. Here we go. You ready? We heard hyperextension of the knee.
I think the hyperextension is legit. The hyperextension happened. You just have to see what.
Well, here's the thing. The hyperextension happens. That was what the Arkansas staff diagnosed. Then he wanted to go get a second opinion. And here's the thing. Either A, and now they're saying possible torn meniscus. A, this is possibly three things here. One, it's a bad look for Arkansas staff unless they just wanted to lie, that they didn't see a torn meniscus in the MRI because it's pretty obvious to see. So they're either hiding this crap, but he went to go get a second opinion, or they don't know what they just missed it. Getting the second opinion is more scary because if it's real, but also we don't know, that could be a lie that he's going to get a second opinion. He could be just like, that hasn't been announced by the team.
Yeah, the fact that he went to
that's just a source, and we don't know where the source is.
I'm not questioning the kid, but I am saying the fact that he went to LA. Why you got to go all the way to LA to get a second opinion? And then
I'm just not sure if he might have went to LA just to get rehab.
This screams agents.
Yeah,
to me, it screams that agents are involved and that they're massaging this for draft stock. You know, if you're hurt right now, maybe don't play until you absolutely have to. Again, this is just me going up. I think the silence is deafening. It's not good when guys are quiet about injuries. It's not good.
Nothing has been announced yet, and I don't know if it will be until probably the end of this week, like after the season.
They'll end the regular season and then say that he won't be able to perform in the tournament. That's
or he will.
That's my guess. I think we've seen the last of Adu Thero for this year, and that's just my guess. I would love to come on here and get roasted for being wrong.
Yeah.
And you know, if it's the last you see of him this season, you don't know if you'll ever see him again, because I would love for him to come back, but that's far from a given.
Yeah. Hogs up 1-0 after one. Had bases loaded, no outs, only scratched one run across. Had a strikeout, a pop out, and then another pop out. Speaking of moving forward, Hogs going to Vanderbilt, 20-9, quad one game here.
This is a few hours from now, correct?
Yep. Yes. They score 80, give up 74. We score 75, give up 70. So the differential is about the same. The big thing is it looks like they're on a better run than we are currently. Because we don't really know who we are. We're kind of inconsistent. Each week you don't know what you're going to pull out of the hat for us. Our last five is kind of what you want to look at, I guess. But for us, it's been so crazy. But losing to A&M by 8, losing to Auburn by 7, beating Missouri by 7, beating Texas by 5, losing to South Carolina by 19. Flip side of that, Vandy loses to Tennessee by 5, loses to Kentucky by 21, and then beats Ole Miss by 5, A&M by 2, and Missouri by 4.
The only two teams in this league that if you look at their last 5 would be consistent, were on they're on two separate ends of the spectrum. Auburn would be consistently winning and South Carolina would be consistently losing. If you look at anybody else in this league, their last 5 is going to look like
Wild.
that. It's going to be all over the place because this league is so good that it makes no sense.
Right. And so Vandy's quad 1. I think if we go 1-1 this week, we're still in the bubble. I think they literally had us at number 68 of 68 going into this week.
Directly on the bubble.
So we've got to win 1 and maybe win 1 in the tournament, depending on who we play, or at least competing.
The way to take the stress off is
win both.
Have your best 2 games and go 2-0. But again, it goes back to the $1 million question: is where do they get their offense from? And I don't know.
It's to be determined.
I don't know.
Then Hogs have Saturday, Mississippi State, number 25 in the country. Average 79 a game, give up 73. So the differential's the same. We give up, we're a 5-point differential. They're a 6-point. Their last 5, kind of the same thing. Beat Ole Miss by 10, beat A&M by 16, lost to Oklahoma by 6, lost to Bama by 38. Then they beat LSU by 12. So random.
How do you lose by 38 and then turn around? Like, that's the thing is, am I down low because of what happened with South Carolina? Yeah. But this would be a really good win tonight. That, look, just get to the tournament.
Just get there. Nobody wants to see it. But here's the thing for me, too. If we do get to the tournament and there's no Thero and no Boogie, we're screwed anyway.
Right. You're cooked. If a dude Thero can't play, you're cooked.
Yeah. Question of the day would have been like, without Thero, without Boogie, can we win in the tournament? My answer is no.
If we're going to give flowers to a team outside of Arkansas, we need to say how good this league is. It's ridiculous.
Possibly 13 to 14 teams are within bubble range of getting into the tournament.
This SEC basketball league this particular year is as dominant as any SEC league has been in football. It's as dominant as any SEC league has been in baseball, which is saying a lot. Well, there's no question. The league's never been better. So I don't like these guys. I strongly dislike Auburn.
Don't say it.
I strongly dislike Bruce Pearl. Strongly dislike him. He's a snake.
Yeah.
And if you're like, it's easy to dislike Auburn. But if they run away with this thing, as it appears they're going to, just mail the Coach of the Year trophy to his house. It's not up for debate.
Not even close. The amount of quad 1 wins, if you look at their record, is so stupid.
That's SEC Coach of the Year. That's National Coach of the Year. Nobody else should even apply. There shouldn't be any nominees. It's not even close.
Right.
It's his best coaching job. We know how Bruce Pearl is when he's been to one championship game, but he's got some warts in March. So my question becomes, is this team just too good to choke in March? Like, because I honestly, when I think about it, I go, how are you going to manage to lose a game in March? They don't have a weakness.
Yeah.
There's not one. They have maybe the most complete player in the country in Janai Broome. Bad boy. These complimentary players around him, they don't have a weakness. They play hard defense. They rebound like madmen. They have taken on the crazy personality of their coach. For all he has that I don't like, his teams will run through a wall.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to come on here and say, well, turns out they had to do this in order to choke him. It's going to be, there will be heat.
Yeah.
There will be heat if this team doesn't make a Final Four.
Absolutely. Arkansas, just go 1-1. If you want to be secured in, go 2-0. I think you're in if you can get both quad 1s this week. Colin Fisher strikes out the last batter here going into the bottom of the second. It is 1-0 Arkansas. Speaking of them Diamond Hogs, we're hopping into a little recap of last week. Played Grambling first game, did exactly what we were supposed to do. Had an awesome pitch committee, brought in a bunch of arms.
Very business-like approach.
Did exactly what we're supposed to. Every year we play Grambling. Love that they come down. They actually play really, they're a solid squad. They're not terrible.
Didn't they win their league?
I believe so. They were actually pretty good.
No, they won their tournament. That's what it was. They won their conference tournament.
They got on a heater. And we business as usual. We roll them. Going into this weekend, we predicted the sweep, but I don't think we predicted this way. Charlotte did their research and noticed that we're going to throw strikes, so you might want to swing early and go ahead and jump on a pitcher. No, don't let him build confidence.
Ultra aggressive.
It was swing on every first pitch you can imagine. They hop out on us 5-0 first inning on our number one guy, Gabe, which is going to happen. Gabe threw strikes. So let's go. The week before last, he couldn't find the zone and he had to pitch his way out. This time he could find the zone. These guys were hitting him on the screws and torching him.
I'm going to tell him myself a little bit. So Nature called about 5 minutes before first pitch on Friday. And so I click over to SEC Network Plus. In the bottom of the first, it's 5-0 Charlotte. And I said, what in the hell happened? I started scrounging Twitter thinking Gabe got hurt. Didn't see anything like that. I thought, was he just wild? Did he walk a bunch of guys? And no. I mean, just a laser show.
They were dominating first. We hit 2 solos, try to make it look a little better and get a little run going. We were sloppy.
I think the score ended up being, before this epic comeback started, it was
9-1.
9-1.
5-0. We score, make it 5-1, and then they went on a heater right after that, made it 9-1, and then we go into the bottom of the third and have a 10-run third inning. How insane is that?
What better to fix a poor pitching performance than a 10 spot in one inning?
10-run third inning, and it was not home runs. It was, I think, 2 home runs started it, and then after that it was all singles and doubles.
Those were both solo home runs. I mean, that was not what built. It was just like good at bat, solid contact, putting the balls in gaps. And great base running. It was a well put together inning where guys just passed the baton for. I think it ended up being 11 or 12 hitters.
Yeah, and then after the third inning, it kind of settled down, and the pitchers kind of figured out their zones. Batters still aggressive. Defense showed up, and the Hogs ended up winning the game 11-10. So it was 10-9 after 3, and both teams just scored 1 more apiece. Gabe, he's hurt. He just ran into the wall. ULM third baseman just got taken out by the guardrail. In left center. Or in left
he's
field.
Up and moving around, but that the concrete wall won the fight here, folks. Oof. Where are his teammates telling him, you got room out?
And what's bad is he caught it first. The wall just boom, caught, bow, dropped. Okay. Yeah. Gabe Gacko only goes 3 innings, 10 hits, 9 runs, and 3 strikeouts.
Kudos to this offense for battling back against somebody else. I don't care whose Friday night guy it is. Everybody's got a guy. And I will say that, and I just like that. I like the mentality of the offense that I saw throughout the weekend, which is I'm not trying to do too much. I'm just trying to set it up for the next game.
Yeah.
It felt like a very well put together offense. It helps when one guy is on a historic heater. We'll get on that, but if you don't know the name Kahil Aloy, you probably need to learn it.
Uh-oh.
That was solid.
Did he just go yard
there?
Sure did. He's yard.
Yeah.
Colesville just goes yard, left center, 2-0 Hogs. But game 2 was a little bit of the same recipe from game 1. Zach Root came in. They didn't put up a 5 spot, put up a 2 spot in the first inning, and he threw strikes. And Zach's, to me, best guy we got.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Goes 5 in 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 8 strikeouts. That's a great outing. Yeah.
He shut the door. Didn't panic when things didn't go well coming out of her. And it wasn't stuff he was doing to himself. This offense I will keep tabs on Charlotte for the rest of the season because I think they're going to do some damage when they get into league play.
Yeah. But Hogs ended up winning 8-5. Had to make a little bit of a comeback. Game 3, you're expecting that this is your third guy, that this is going to be the best hitting day. Ended up being the worst. And the Hogs win 4-3.
A lot needed to be said about the depth of Arkansas pitching staff because the fact that you can have a Sunday game and your projected Sunday guy the guy that's been your Sunday guy is out for a few weeks with a shoulder impingement.
Yeah.
So your fourth guy is an experienced senior in Landon Bottleshees who goes out and deals.
Yep. Goes 6 1/3 inning, 4 hits, 1 run, 7 Ks.
It shows the depth of this staff.
It does.
The depth of this staff is ridiculous. It's Arkansas fans have been spoiled in terms of that dominant Friday night starter. Going all the way back to, I guess, the Blaine Knight days where it was, it would be the Blaine Knight, Isaiah Campbell, and then, of course, Hagen Smith. 3 guys in a row where you had kind of that dominant Friday night guy, and you could ride off that you were going to win on Friday and then just try to get one on Saturday or Sunday. But what made that 2018 team so good and do everything other than lift the trophy at the end was a guy like Casey Murphy in the Saturday role, where you had an absolute bulldog backing up Blaine Knight.
Yeah.
There was depth in that staff. I think the third guy ended up being a young freshman, Isaiah Campbell.
Yeah.
So you had no easy gets 1 through 3 starting wise. Now, Arkansas may not have that unbeatable Friday night guy, but this staff is more balanced than any staff I've ever seen as far as like there's not much drop off between the Friday starter and the Sunday starter.
Right.
You're going to have to come and beat Arkansas offensively. Arkansas is not going to beat themselves. They're not going to walk anybody. They're not going to commit errors. I think we had a stat last week in 4 games. Arkansas didn't commit an error.
Not one.
So if you don't give the other team stuff and you make them beat you, it becomes that much harder. And that's the difference in baseball is, look, this is a game of failure. The best hitters bat 300, which means you're out 7 out of 10 times. So I'll stick you in the Hall of Fame for failing 70% of the time. Yep. Baseball is a game of failure. If you don't give them anything and you make them earn everything, you're going to be a tough team to beat. And I think that is what I love the most about this Arkansas team.
Yeah. So something happens in this game. Hogs do win 4-3. Landon looks great. Something happened before the 9th inning where we kind of had a debacle. Parker Coyle in the 8th inning. Parker Coyle.
Yeah.
And arguably could have just stayed in and just kept doing his thing, but we had to get an arm in.
Mr. Immaculate.
Parker Coyle throws a perfect inning, an immaculate inning, 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. They didn't even come close to touching the ball.
When you strike out the side in the minimum of 9 pitches.
I've never seen it.
Known as the immaculate inning. It's not unheard of, but I've never seen it from beginning to end. Because here's the thing. There's a lot of things that can go wrong to keep that from happening.
Yeah.
If a guy fouls off a pitch with 2 strikes, that's over. If you get a bad call from the umpire, it's over. Watch it from beginning to end. And I mean, look, I have a love-hate relationship with Arkansas baseball fans because I can tell which ones have only been around since about 2018. But kudos to the ones that were in Baltimore Stadium when that happened, because I don't know who notified them, but they clearly knew what was going on.
Yeah. It was awesome. They got behind him. He got fired up. Probably could have came out in the 9th and done great, but we had to get another arm in.
You had to see if Christian Fouch could go twice.
And Fouch started clunking people, and then they had to call in who a lot of you do not want in. Big Willie McIntyre.
I don't understand it. I think Will McIntyre is going to be a different role for this team than he's been in the past, which, I mean, Mac's been here since like 2004, it seems like. But
100%. Out of Bryant, baby. Homegrown.
Yeah. The thing that's going to help Will McIntyre this year is I think with the depth of this staff, he's not going to be called on to be multiple times a weekend.
Yeah, just once.
I think it'll be one use per weekend. And that keeps guys from honestly getting a good look at that cutter because that's what he throws a lot.
Yeah.
And
if you're on it, it's a bad day for him.
Right.
But if you don't know what it looks like.
He came in and put out the fire. Christian Fouch had a weekend that there's a save in there, but he also created traffic on the base paths. Like, I think he hit 3 guys in two appearances this weekend.
Yeah.
The command's just not there. You watch the guy throw, I've seen it over the years. I mean, Christian Fouts throws 100. So, like, I'm of the mindset that at any level, if you throw 100, just let it eat. He's one of these guys that has natural movement on his fastball to where he can, look, man, just throw it down the middle and let it do whatever it wants.
Yeah.
I think if the worst thing you have going for you is that you've got to figure out a guy with a big arm like that, we're okay.
Right. 100%.
They'll figure it out.
We're gonna give out our flowers as well. Our MVP of the week, Kahio Aloy. So they talked about how could he stay in the lineup? He was having trouble with righties and eating lefties alive.
Yeah, DVH was at the Squatters Club today. The one little tidbit that they did have was him talking about how the heater that Cahill's on right now, and saying that the book on him was, look, he might be a guy that could DH for us this year against lefties, but he's got to get better against right-handed pitching. And that if it comes down to it, they were thinking he could be this kind of hitter as a junior, meaning next year.
Yeah.
He still has some development to go. And DVH's exact words were, now I have to put him in the lineup because if I don't, you guys will think I'm an idiot.
100%. So he goes 6 of 11 on the weekend for 7 RBIs. And he's spraying the ball all over the yard.
Have we looked at those stats? I mean, I'm talking about like an over 600 batting average and 4 home runs, and I think he's up to like 16 RBIs.
It's unreal. And it's not like he's just hitting hard shots one way. The ball is leaving the bat at a ridiculous amount of speed, which means he's on it.
I think,
and it's all over the yard.
Here's the thing too: is like there's 5 doubles in there. He very easily could have 7 home runs and 2 doubles.
Yeah,
because
they're hitting the top of the damn fence.
Some of those doubles were inches away from sneaking out.
And the exit velo that this guy has, guys, is just, they talk about it so much, and this is what this era is all about, is the exit velo. What does that mean? The ball off the bat at over 100 plus miles an hour.
And I mean,
if you're 105 plus, you're insane.
He's averaging 108.
It's
in the
unreal.
Middle of all that. I mean,
which means he's squaring that ball up. He's
barreling balls.
And they're saying that, it's not, he is finding pitches. And we talked about it in the last episode that didn't make it. He's fouling off pitches that are, he catches a slider and he pulls it down the line 12 feet for 400 plus feet. And then the guy comes right back inside with a heater and he's fouling those off. Like, that's ridiculous. And he's hitting them hard.
It's wasting out pitches.
And he is messing up pitchers because he is seeing it or he is guessing correctly at all times.
A successful at bat doesn't always end it.
Not at all.
Maybe I'm getting a little deep into this, but I think another detail that we need to talk about, and it made me think about this because his brother Vahiva
just got a single
up right now, just got a knock. Way to go, kid.
We got a double. He just stretched into a double. That a boy.
Yeah, take the extra 90. That kid. So a lot this time last year, as hot as Kahio Aloy is, that's how, should we say, not hot, cold Vahiva was last year. He struggled for the first month and a half of the season like I've never seen anybody. He was pressing so hard.
Yes.
He evened out towards the end of the year, but he never got back over 300. Like that bad start killed his slash.
Yeah.
For the entire year. It killed his numbers. He was great for the last probably 2/3 of the season, but he started
so slow
for the first third. Now, can you imagine? Because both these kids are from Hawaii. You come from Hawaii to the mainland at Sacramento State, I think is where he transferred
That's
from.
where he came from.
And then you transfer from Sacramento State to Arkansas. And the first year you're in a region that you probably never thought you'd be in. You don't know anybody.
Right.
Can you imagine the comfort in knowing that this year your brother's on the team?
Right. And I think that's what he's playing. They're both playing relaxed and having fun.
Right. Kahio is it's the extra intangible stuff too, because I think he has been a huge benefit for Vahiva.
I think what guys lack in baseball, especially when we get to this kind of a level with Arkansas and how we're meant to be a national championship team, we've got to get to the playoffs. We've got to do better. The pressure that we add on ourselves to do so takes away from the game. This is supposed to be fun. And if you're playing fun and relaxed, as if just like the Bash brothers, the Aloy brothers are doing, not only are you having a little fun, being relaxed is freeing you up to hit the ball. It's not rocket science. It's more of a mental game anyway. You are plenty strong enough, plenty quick enough, plenty everything needed to hit the ball, to put the ball in play. And yet it's more a mental game. Did he just get another? Oh, is he going to run? Is he going to run? He's hauling. Dang, well, he was fast. So Kahio Aloy just hit a sac fly to right field, and he didn't catch it.
That was a single.
It dropped, and that's what I was about to say. He tagged up quick.
Yeah, that dropped in.
Vahiva scores.
Yeah, brother driving in, brother. You love to see.
To see it. The Aloha Brothers is dominating right now, and they're just playing free and having fun. Every single time that these guys get a hit or search, do you not see the smile on their dang face? Like they're enjoying it.
Your team has to like each other.
I love this.
Your team has to like each other. Your team has to be each other's biggest advocate. And these guys, not only do they seem to really get along, but I think there's a little bit of an edge that maybe hasn't been there in past years for Arkansas. Arkansas kind of has the reputation under Dave Van Horn of just being kind of a professional, not much chirping, not much celebratory stuff, which I appreciate that, but I think we could stand to have a little bit of red ass in us, and I think this team's got it.
I do too. So Hogs play Louisiana and Monroe in a 2-game, and who do we got this weekend? Portland this weekend. So it should be 5-game sweep, and then next week UCA, and then we start SEC play. Ole Miss.
Right.
So can't wait.
Conference went by so fast.
So quick. Moving forward. Okay, so I know that we're a sports podcast and we're an Arkansas podcast, but we're also fans of many things in this world. And
you're not going to make me talk about it, are you? I'm still kind of hurt.
Yes, we're going to talk about it. 100%. WWE had arguably, in my opinion, and you can fight me, argue about it.
Other people are already fighting you about it.
They are. They're already talking trash. Biggest heel turn of all time, John Cena.
Look, folks, I was watching Bash at the Beach in 96. Okay. We were Dusty Rhodes fans. So obviously I'm a huge Cody Rhodes fan. But I was watching in 96. Yeah, it was a big deal. But like what people don't understand about this turn is that
when we say turn, by the way, if you don't know, it's just he went from the ultimate good guy to a bad guy. If they flip their personas.
Everybody knows who John Cena is, even if you don't watch wrestling. The one thing you know about John Cena is the Make-A-Wish stuff. Mm-hmm. The kids love him.
Everybody loves him.
Yeah, the insane merchandise sales because every kid has to get a wristband and the T-shirt and the hat and all that.
Not only that, for other wrestlers, he is a massive mentor and helper and an all-around good guy. They say when he walks into the locker room, and he doesn't even have to be in the locker room for 5 years, when he comes in, he says hi to everyone and talks to them and helps them in any questions or whatever they have. He is the ultimate businessman.
So here's the difference. Because the only heel turn that is comparable to this is Hogan forming the NWO. That's the only thing that's close. So what makes this the biggest heel turn of all time for me? Hogan was
an asshole,
a media creation. Hulk Hogan was a media creation. This whole say your prayers, take your vitamins, train, all that stuff. It was a media creation.
Yeah, it wasn't real, folks. He was a jerk.
Terry Bollea, the person behind the character of Hulk Hogan, is a douchebag.
Yeah, man. They talk about this a lot, how the no-selling stuff where he would get up and start doing his rah-rah stuff.
And just completely bury the guy that he's in the ring with.
A lot of guys were pissed about that because he didn't tell them they were doing that.
Well,
he
and
just did it.
A lot of it is, Hogan for most of his career had something in his contract called creative control.
Right. Where he could make an on-the-fly decision.
It's the kiss of death, because you could have this great storyline that involves him losing at some point, and he can look at you and say, well, it doesn't work for me, brother. And believe me, he did.
Quite a bit.
Ask Sting about it. Go back and watch Starrcade 97. They built that up for a year where Sting didn't talk. And then the big payoff was that Sting was actually going to get Hogan at 97 and at Starrcade in 97. And it was supposed to be a quick count. Sting was supposed to lose on a quick count. And Bret Hart had been brought into WCW after the Montreal screw job. And he was supposed to come out and say, I know what it's like to be screwed by a referee. I'm not going to let this happen. Restart the match. And Sting wins the match. What happened between backstage in the ring is up for debate. I'm about to tell you what I think happened, because at the end of that match, what is supposed to be the quick count by referee Nick Patrick ends up being a normal count. So it's just Sting being beat 1, 2, 3 clean in the middle of the ring. Bret Hart comes out to argue that it was a fast count when it clearly wasn't. Hogan has clearly gotten to Nick Patrick before he went out and said, what's the call here? Now just go ahead and make it a normal count. And I'm sure he got a little extra chunk of change for it. That's just Hogan being Hogan. He's a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
And let's be clear. When I say I don't like Hulk Hogan, I know a few weeks ago he got booed in LA pretty hard when they brought him out for the Raw debut on Netflix. I'm sure he got booed in LA because of politics. Let me be clear. I don't give a shit who you vote for. I don't care. So this isn't about politics. What makes this the biggest heel turn of all time is that John Cena is that guy.
Yeah, he is what he says he is.
Hustle, loyalty, respect, and never give up, and all of that. The leader in Make-A-Wish by like 1 million.
Yeah, it's not even close.
You'll never catch it. And the fact that he's on his retirement tour, Jeremy. So he could have very easily just said, look, I'd like to just wave and shake hands and kiss babies and do the farewell tour.
Way I came in.
Go out and shout out the town that we're in and just have the farewell tour and make a gajillion dollars in merch by selling retirement shirts and all that kind of stuff. This guy chose to be creative until the very end.
And possibly telling his best story.
Right. This guy said, what is, and I know it's a hot button term, what's best for business? What's best for this company?
And he is flipping his character completely, reinventing himself for the next 6 to 8 months. And here's, to me, what people don't get is he hadn't won a match since 2018. So if you're going to compare the Hogan thing, Hogan would never do that. For 6 to 7 years, lose every match you're in. And he's had plenty. It's not like he had 1 or 2 matches. He's had plenty.
How many pay-per-views did Hogan not compete?
Like Cena hasn't done anything.
The world champion's not on. I can't stand that at any level when the champion's not on TV.
What gets me too is Cena was begging for a WrestleMania moment with The Undertaker. Right? Cena and Undertaker would have been massive. Undertaker trained for that to be a 45-minute to an hour match. And Vince said, no, it's going to be a wash under 5. And Undertaker said no, calls John in the room, says, what are we doing here? And John said, I've been talking too much trash to you. You wipe the floor with me. Like John bent the knee here to say, no. I've been wrong here talking trash to you. You need to squash me.
I've spent 6 or 7 weeks
burying you, and you're not even here to defend yourself. You need to beat this snot out of me. John could have been like, yeah, let's go for 30 or 45, make it interesting.
And everybody would have loved it. He
said, no, that doesn't help the story. You got to bury me, man. Hulk Hogan would have never done that. Cena has been laying down for this company no matter what. Comes out. We started to see this happen. So sorry, we went on a tangent. So fast forward to now, and Cody Rhodes is the good guy. Cena's the good guy. We're at Elimination Chamber, which this pay-per-view determines who's facing Cody at WrestleMania. The Rock is also involved. You're like, what? Yes, The Rock is back. He is the final boss. He is a part of corporate. So he is the final boss. That's his new character. And I love it. He's fantastic.
I do too.
Yeah. So The Rock is the bad guy. He offers Cody, who is our good guy and the champion, be my champion. I will give you everything you want, but you're going to essentially be my puppet. Okay. I want your soul, is what he says. I want you to do as I say, and I'll give you, your family, everything in the world you could ever imagine. He gave him a car. He gave him a Rolex that looked just like his dad's watch. Like, you name it, he was given it. Then,
for those of you guys that are old heads too, like Cody Rhodes is the son of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, who like was a mentor to anyone that you love in wrestling. Anybody that you love Dusty Rhodes. It's a big deal because like The Rock loved Dusty.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he has invoked the name of Dusty Rhodes on several occasions to try to get to Cody. And it's worked because it got to me. You know, like I'm watching this and I'm thinking, man, leave Dusty alone.
Yeah.
But this is the type of heel shit that we've waited on
for a while.
For a long time.
Rock references Cody's dad during these promos. You name it. He's trying to get Cody on his side. Cody is the ultimate good guy, right? He surely won't turn, even though he should.
He will eventually. And,
but it's
and the real
not
money,
his time.
The real money will be with Cody as a heel.
Yeah, he has not. It's not his time, which we all kind of thought it would be because we're kind of getting bored of just this baby face. And
did they turn that back up.
And then they flipped it. So Cody says, I've already sold my soul to these fans, to this ring, to this company. I am not doing that. Rock, go F yourself.
And this was not like a bleep.
No, he said it.
Y'all remember in A Christmas Story when Ralphie said, oh, fudge, and then the narrator said, only I didn't say fudge. It was a holy shit moment for me.
It was awesome. Cody says this. The crowd goes nuts. The Rock's standing there. Cena's losing his mind. As Cena is losing his mind, it's just this awkward silence. They let it go.
Right. You know, Cena has won the Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah, Cena's winning. He's going to face Cody. The Rock comes out. He says, go F yourself. I'm not doing it. It's going to be me and John. Get out of here kind of crap. John then hugs Cody, says, let's do this, me and you. As this is happening, Cody, his back is to The Rock. John Cena is looking at The Rock. The Rock does a throat slit with 2 fingers up. I say that because there's a purpose, I believe. And Cena does the unthinkable after 23 years and kicks Cody in the nuts.
Let's talk about when the throat slash happened. You all of a sudden see Cena. It's a perfect camera shot of Cena's face over Cody's shoulder. Cena's eyes go dead.
Yes. So ultimately, I do not believe Cena is a bad guy. Cena is lost and confused and is chasing what we already put him as, a lot of people. I'm not a Cena guy, if I'm being honest with you.
No, me neither.
I'm not. I never have been. But Cena is considered one of the greatest of all time, if not the, right? They say GOAT when they talk about him. So Cena stabs Cody in the back, turns heel, beats the hell out of Cody, busts him wide open, picks up the championship, all the while keeping this dead face, right?
Let's talk about the fact that he busted him open, too, with that Rolex. A lot of symbolism there.
It was beautiful. And Cena, we're going to pause on it. Travis Scott is also involved in this situation, which, now we're looking at it.
When you ask yourself why, that's okay.
I think there is a reason. So, I don't like it, but I think there is a reason. So Travis Scott signed a contract he's the music of Raw on Netflix. So I think that he's the reason, but also The Rock invited him out there. And I think that there's a purpose behind that. But Travis Scott actually ends up really hurting Cody, as if Cody wasn't already hurt. Everybody's saying it's fake. It's whatever. Again, this is not.
It's giving up of your body is what it is.
Cody is literally getting slapped with a belt. He has whelps all over his body. Travis Scott slaps him in the face and actually gives him a black eye and busts his eardrum. If you go back and listen to that slap, that is his
this is what happens
of the hand.
So this is what happens when you have untrained, unathletic morons.
I can't wait for Cody to give him a receipt.
In the in the storyline with three of the greats. This is what happens when you say, hey, which I'm sure Cody with a little inside baseball probably told him, hey man, lay it in.
Right.
Like if you're going to hit me, it can't look like crap. So lay it in, and by God, did he. That was stiff as shit.
Yes. And John Cena is now with The Rock, leaves. We will hear from them Friday on SmackDown, which Cody, to me, he's wrestled with everything under the sun injury wise. He will give his body to the company. I think that Cody's going to be really wearing the black eye. I mean, I love this. I actually like that.
Yeah, the fact that he ended up with a black eye is really gonna
be awesome.
And the fact
he'll
that
play it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Can we? I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Going forward, what happens here in your mind?
Well, first things first, Cody Rhodes. And he's earned it because I think the guy's got one of the coolest stories ever, that he went out and bet on himself after being stuck in the mid card at WWE, went and got himself over in another company. One of the few guys that's done that, went and got himself over in another company to the point where this was when the old man was in charge, and the old man didn't recognize anybody that came from another company. So the fact that Cody Rhodes was brought in, his first match was at WrestleMania with a guy like Seth Rollins. He gets the bloodline storyline with Roman Reigns. Unbelievable. He's the biggest babyface on the planet. We've stretched that. We stretched that for 2 years. You know, he lost 1 year at WrestleMania to Roman, and they stretched that out for another year and got the biggest payoff I've ever seen. I remember sitting and crying in front of that, like as a grown man going, man, I love this shit. Like, it's been a while since something has actually made me feel that way. But about the time it starts to get stale, he's now the babyface that's going to be involved in the heel Cena turn that we've been begging for 20 years.
The one and only heel Cena turn.
The last one.
Like the only.
You're going to get the last, 8-9 months where there actually is a time limit on this, so you can hotbox this booking any way that you want, because there is no tomorrow with Johnson.
Yeah.
Kudos to Cody. Man, you're living right. He's about to be the biggest babyface on the planet all over again.
Right.
This is going to shoot you to another stratosphere. What happens here?
In your mind, like if you're going to if you're the creative here.
I actually love the fact that he didn't come out on Raw.
Well, he's a SmackDown guy. And I didn't really think about that either. I thought he was coming out too.
I actually love the fact that they had it planned out to where we didn't hear from The Rock or Cena or Cody.
Well, I think here's what they're doing, and they're very smart about it.
Raw did spam the absolute dog crap out of those highlights. They spammed them all night, just showing them over and over. They cropped in some internet reactions from kids that were crying because John Cena turned heel. This is real. It's worldwide. And God, wrestling's back.
It is. Monday Night Raw, I think the reason why they're pushing Cody and them to SmackDown is the actual Elimination Chamber had 4 different stories happening inside it. Yeah. It wasn't just the Cena, Rhodes, and the winner goes.
Let's not act like Raw didn't start white hot.
Yeah. And so the real story for Raw, because Cody is a SmackDown guy, and so is now apparently Cena and Rock created the SmackDown. Seth and CM Punk got the spotlight.
So Punk's feelings are hurt with Cena turning as well. But Punk actually had that moment where I told you so.
Right.
Like everything I've been saying about this being, and I quote, bullshit, was right.
Yeah. He can now say that Cena was full of shit, which is great. But CM Punk comes out, cuts a great promo. Seth Rollins comes out.
On everybody, y'all. We all caught strays. Everybody.
Him and Seth fight all around the building. It's incredible. I wish Roman would have showed up there. They're saving that for something, which is great. The end of Raw happens. Rhea Ripley loses to Io Sky. I'm not sure if they're trying to force a triple threat here. Rhea could be kind of hurt, in my opinion. If you go back and watch this match, there's a lot of sloppy, messed up spots.
Right.
That confuse me because those two are freak athletes and they don't make those mistakes that consistent. It was not just one or two.
There was a clear effort to make it as if Rhea was not fully focused on this match, and if she was fully focused, she would have won the match, because you had Bianca sit
Right.
ringside, where Rhea appears to be in control, and while she's in control, she's overstepping.
Yes.
She's talking to Bianca outside the ring, saying, "Hey, I'll see you at WrestleMania, yada yada," and then she gets caught sleeping, and Io Sky wins the title. And let me tell you something, that little girl can work, buddy.
Yeah. So I'm not mad about her losing it. I
think that
it just looked bad to me. But it could have been intentional.
There's a clear story here. They're
trying to get a triple threat.
They'll get a triple. I think if Rhea is not hurt, that's something I haven't thought about.
I was just a little nervous about it because the way she was moving, the distraction part, it was the moves where she had to depend on her strength and she would fall.
Where
it just looked off.
If Rhea's not hurt, which we all hope she's not, to me she's the most to me she's the biggest star in the company.
100%. She's everything that everybody wanted China to be. She is the best, in my opinion, and I don't care what you think. She is the best women's wrestler on the planet ever.
The most complete women's sports entertainer that has ever existed.
And she's only 28.
If you were going to create a sports entertainment superstar in a lab, she would come out looking like Rhea Ripley. If she's not hurt, which I pray that's not the case, I've got to think that next week, little Io is about to catch a beat down.
Yeah, or they're doing something where it's a triple threat in some way, shape, or form.
Right. I
think Io and Bianca having a great stare down, and then Rhea comes out and says, "No, I want my rematch."
Well, because we saw there was legit anger and emotion from Rhea after this match, where I can't believe I let that happen.
Yeah.
This is a joke. You can see she's in tears, and I mean, just there's legit self-hate there, where Rhea kind of gave off the vibe that Rhea's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
So I think somebody's catching a beat down from Mommy next week.
Right.
Like, Io, watch your back.
So
Mommy's always on top.
What happens now? Since we think that's what Raw was trying to do, even though they were clickbaiting us. What happens moving forward with this Cena Cody story, in your opinion? Because I have a really good one, I think.
I think that it has to lead. John Cena has to go over in his final WrestleMania. Now that here's the thing. When we started talking about this, the first thing we said was Cena can't win the title because he can't be counted on to defend it. But now he's a heel, and he can get away with it because it would be a heel thing to do to not compete as much. So now he has to go get that 17th title at WrestleMania. But the key thing is he has to win it dirty.
Yep, I agree.
He has to win it dirty. That's the key. And then for the rest, the beauty in it will be the way that they turn it, where all of a sudden we forget that he won the 17th title dirty. And it's beautiful storytelling that if you're going to win a 17th title, because that 16-time championship thing is kind of a hollow thing, where that's Ric Flair territory, and everybody respects that hey, the Nature Boy got the 16th title. Nobody's ever going to get there. I think this is a way for John to pay homage and say, yeah, I got the 17,
but I had a cheat to get there.
But it's an asterisk.
Yeah.
And
it's the ultimate company thing to do to pay respect to Ric Flair's.
Right. I got the 17, and now when I do it, I'm going to rub it in your face that, hey, like it or not, it's in the books.
I am the GOAT.
17 times, like it or not.
Yep.
So now when you take it off of him, we're talking Mount Rushmore type babyface.
So he wins the title, drops the title where? And do you think just back to Cody?
It has to be.
Okay, Cody ends up beating him, conquering the situation.
It has to be. Now that's assuming they don't throw a swerve in everything that makes sense right now.
I gotta swerve.
Go ahead.
All right, I agree with you after WrestleMania, but here's something that has been hitting me. Travis Scott, right?
Okay.
We don't get it. But
no, because it's not
here's
to
the
be
thing.
gotten.
No, but I think it is. I think that there's a story here. And I don't like it, but I think it's a story. They asked Rock if Travis will be moving forward with him, and he said yes, right? Can you tell me what The Rock officially wants, right? This character, Final Boss. He wants power, right?
Uh-huh.
So if he can get John Cena, which he has, the power for SmackDown. Travis Scott, can you tell me who he walked out with the first ever Raw on Netflix?
You're going to tell me.
The other biggest baby face in the company right now.
Okay. Oh, forgot about that.
Yeet.
Yeah.
He came out with him. Now we've looked at whenever The Rock did 1, 2, 3. They say that this had a purpose, right? John Cena did the 3. That's what he does every time he puts his hands up.
Right.
When he did the throat slash with the 2, I told you that had meaning. The second member of this faction. What if Travis Scott helps get Jey Uso into this faction?
Okay.
Turns heel, which we would never see coming, right? I don't want him to have to do this, but he could. Turns heel. It's also family, Us. And right now, what is Jey saying over and over again? Nobody believes in me. Nobody thinks I can beat Gunther, right?
Yeah.
And what if The Rock comes around and says, I believe in you, Us. All you got to do is just be with me.
Now, but
and
here's the thing. If that's going to happen, that needs to happen. I think it would be most impactful if it was to end night 1 of WrestleMania. Meaning, like,
he comes out, helps him somehow, some way.
Somehow, some way that there's help from The Rock or the Final Boss to beat Gunther at WrestleMania, and you say, I believe in you. I made this happen.
Yep. So Jey turns.
There's legs there.
Jey turns. Cena turns. 2 of the biggest baby faces turn into the biggest heels for The Rock. The Rock now has complete control. The Rock has the opportunity to just take over the company, right?
Like, it goes back to what you said off air several times, and we tried to say it on air, but Paul Levesque, Triple H, is maybe the best in the history of the business at creating heels, at having a baby face that you fall in love with and then ripping your heart out when we turn. Because I love Jey Uso as a baby face. I absolutely, but here's the thing. That kind of stuff, the catchphrase stuff, and all
goes
that
away.
It gets stale fast, and you got to capitalize on it while it's still hot in order for your heel turn
to be impactful. So Jey turns. This leads to The Rock taking over the company, right? Taking it away from Triple H. This is my company now. I own your champions. I am part of the board. Step aside, right? Which leads Triple H to a War Games-esque rivalry.
Or Survivor Series.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, like Raw is War, the Invasion era. I think The Rock has to, after he gets Jey, maybe he goes and gets Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, or all 3, right? Something like that. And then Triple H, to save the company, has to put Cody, Roman, all the baby faces we got together that's left.
Wait a minute.
I mean, I don't know if Roman's it, but I just think he's got to be
Cody, Roman, and then you get
Jimmy,
Seth, and CM Punk on the same team, where like these guys who don't like each other have to coexist for the good of the company. And somebody turns. I mean, like it makes a lot of sense, man.
Or you throw a Drew McIntyre psychopath,
right? Who hates everybody?
Yeah. So
who hates everybody?
I think it can happen.
He's on the internet right now bitching about somebody. Like Drew McIntyre. I love this narcissistic stuff where it's like everything is "I told you so." I love it. I love it. He's so talented.
I think that we can have this save the company storyline off of this storyline. And then
a better version,
of the Invasion era,
which that was, I mean, dude, I could have I could have sat on the toilet after a night with Taco Bell and come out with a better storyline than
but
that.
the invasion
So
was such a cool idea, and you would be saving the company. Like The Rock is hijacking the WWE, and Triple H doesn't let it happen. I just love that Triple H Rock rivalry, but the teams fight for them.
And you know,
because I don't want to see Triple H or The Rock in the ring.
Triple H, yeah, you got a pacemaker, and you could, you know, like it was touch and go for a while with his health. I'm sure he could hit a pedigree.
Yeah, this is just my hope and my prayer to build it farther out is to have The Rock get both champions.
Well, here's the cherry on top, and this just hit me, like live during the podcast. This just hit me. Here's the cherry on top. I'm pretty sure that if you go out on the timeline that Cena has put out, Survivor Series would lead up to be his last pay-per-view. So let's say Cena's obviously the centerpiece of the Rock Survivor Series team.
Yeah.
But he don't want the company to go down.
Yeah.
And then
you got to change of heart.
That's when you have Cena turn babyface right before he gets out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have oh God, John, welcome back. And it's one of those things where he just rides off into the sunset as the hero.
Yep.
Which is what
he saved the company.
Which is what we all want.
He was hands down the corruption and the savior.
Hey, H, if you're listening, you're welcome.
I'm just saying it could be great, and you have a whole year. You can just write it.
Hey, Triple H, if you're listening, what can I say except you're welcome?
I'm telling you, man, this would be a battle for the company. Not like that's the biggest storyline. It's not just John turning heel. Let's just ride that wave and don't let it fizzle. But have The Rock literally here to steal the company from your hands.
Yeah, because I mean, if you take that all the way back to the WrestleMania build up for WrestleMania 40, there was
real beef there,
backstage heat where it was, I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge.
Exactly.
Go to hell. Where we've kind of wondered, where's that going to go? Because you can't just ignore that.
Exactly.
Like these guys were legit. They had a great rivalry in the Attitude Era.
Exactly.
And you know what? If you watch these interviews, there at times was legit heat. They did not like each other. They worked well together, but they did not like each other.
Triple H, how do I send this storyline to you just to be out there in the sphere for you, just in case you want it?
Thing. None of us know anything.
This could be a horrible story. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like where they're going with it could actually be horrible.
These guys who make money on these newsletters, the Dave Meltzers and the Wade Kellers and all these guys, they don't know anything either. It's all throwing shit against the wall, see what sticks.
I just think 2025 could be the year of like saving WWE. It's a new era we talked about. New era, new TV show, new everything. And if The Rock hijacks that along the way.
We're leaving out too that like it could be some guys that aren't on TV right now. The second guy could be a Jimmy Uso or a Solo Sikoa who just said, I need time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like that would make a lot of sense. Where it's like where if you want to talk about how you say Jay, like nobody believes in me, that's nothing compared to the type of like non-belief that Solo gets.
Yep.
Where he gets buried by fans. Where he's literally been called the poor man's tribal chief. Like that'll make somebody mad.
But you put 10 of these guys who are about to carry your company for the next 5 to 10. There's so many people that can be associated with this that can carry this company. I just love that story idea. Might not happen. When Jay turns, if he does decide to turn,
there's a really good chance that we look like idiots.
100%. But if Jay doesn't, if he turns, that's almost that right now. I love Jay. He cried after he won. He's been trying to get in the Mania main event for forever and actually win one, go for a title. And now that he has the shot,
who did he eliminate and who did he hug and who did he have that great moment with after he won the Rumble?
Cena.
And now that's the biggest shithead in the world. Come on now.
I think we're cooking. The man he eliminated. By the way, when he eliminated him, it was kind of an easy elimination.
And
it wasn't a tough one. It took 30 seconds.
What did John supposedly say? Which I'm sure it's a shoot. He said, I told you would get here.
Yeah, and then said, and look at the crowd. This is for you. But I think that he can corrupt.
The Diamond Hogs have opened it up. It is now 9-0 in the top of the fifth, looking very much like a run rule type situation. I think is that a Ben Bybee sighting on the mound right now?
Yes. So that's just it. I don't know. I'm sorry we went on. This is a long episode. We went on some rants, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm glad you guys stuck with us. So we're going to wrap up episode 40 for you guys. We'll be a little bit cleaner next week. This is our third go at this. Every day we're getting more and more information, so we piled a bunch on you. Be a quicker episode next week for sure. But
by the way, shout out to my best friend Townsend. Follow her on all socials at Townsend Team Music. I'm wearing the tank top. You think, man, he's underdressed. There's a reason. You see her dog, my fur niece Bailey, right here. It's her birthday. She's 11 years old today. So, Bailey, happy birthday. Uncle Will loves you.
Happy birthday, pup. Before you guys get out of here, though, 3 things I want you to live by. Number 1, don't piss into the wind.
Done it.
Number 2, hopefully today, and it looks like it, Hogs by 90. And number 3, and probably the most important, never, ever, ever trust a farm. Until next time, guys, we'll see you later.